Let's talk about healing bladder infections and inflammation naturally. It can be done.
Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist. Get healthy now.
Hi, Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist here. Well, today I want to talk about healing bladder inflammation and infections. And a lot of people have this. You know, I had this for many years. And it's no fun. There's no doubt about that. I'll get into a lot of reasons as to why this happens, and a few things you can do and a few things you can take to make a big difference. And you don't want to go there if you don't have this, that's for sure. Having to run to the bathroom all the time is terrible. First of all, you need to go to the doctor, do a culture, find out if you have, a bacteria there or some kind of yeast or something else going on. And, if you have a bladder infection, you have that constant urge to run to the bathroom, pain and burning when you go to the bathroom. You're only able to urinate a little bit of urine at a time. Sometimes the urine is cloudy and kind of has a foul odor to it. Kind of a little pressure in your pelvic area. That also can happen for some certain people, and not always, but sometimes. And one of the things I highly recommend, especially if you have an infection, is Uva Ursi. Uva Ursi, and this happened to me, Nature's Way brand, and I highly recommend it, and it really does a great job. Also called bearberry, and we keep it around the house all the time. And it's really derived from a wild flowering shrub that grows across Europe, Asia, and North America, and really does an amazing job for healing infections of the bladder. And I recommend taking it for 7 to 10 days. And it contains an agent called arbutin, which actually is really great at UTI. So highly recommend that in general. And it's also very good about getting rid of E. coli in general in the body. There was a study of older women with 57 women, and they were taking the supplement with dandelion root and found that it actually reduced UTI reoccurrence compared to placebo in a great way. So I recommend taking 500 milligrams for 7 to 10 days. So 500 milligrams for 7 to 10 days, and no longer than 7 to 10 days, because this is strong stuff. There's no doubt about it. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. That would be my first thing to go to. Also, if you're a coffee or tea drinker, sometimes that can irritate your bladder. There's no doubt about it. So the first thing I would do is lay off the caffeine type of things. The coffee, the teas, that type of stuff. Go to herbal teas, and especially chamomile tea, which is very good too. Another one I like is Marshmallow Root, which I don't have a bottle here right now. But Marshmallow Root is very soothing for all the mucous membranes in the body, including the bladder, and really good for getting rid of inflammation, and really does. I even take it when I'm working out. After working out, I have a lot of inflammation. It does a good job of that also. I recommend taking 400 milligram capsules AM and PM for 7 to 10 days, and take a break and come back to it. And it really is great. Also, chemicals in our food can do all kinds of terrible things to our bladder. I used to have bladder inflammation all the time. They kept doing cultures. Nothing was there. They put me on antibiotics. That would help for a little while. And then, I decided to change my diet many years ago and to go to totally organic, and whoa, it was gone. Totally disappeared. And I have to say that a lot of these chemicals in our food will do a number to your bladder. There's no doubt about that. So I highly recommend eat organic, please, and you'll see a big difference in inflammation in your body in general. Also, another one I like is slippery elm. Slippery elm does a great job. This is Nature's Way again. And Nature's Way, slippery elm does a great job. It's very soothing, healing, and calming for all the areas of the body. And really for the digestive system, it seemed to work well for the bladder also. So I highly recommend taking it helps to get rid of toxins and also help to get rid of the inflammation in the body. I recommend taking 400 milligram capsules AM and PM, 400 milligram capsules AM and PM for 7 to 10 days. And take a week off and come back to it if you want. Really good for inflammation of the bladder. Good old corn silk tea. I highly recommend it. A great diuretic. A lot of times just flushing the bacteria out of the bladder will get rid of it altogether. So you can go to any health food store and get corn silk tea. Also, Chinese stores have it too, corn silk tea in tea bags. And make sure you drink it 3 or 4 times a day. You know, brew it, take your tea bag, put it in water, brew it, and have 3 or 4 cups every day, and that will do a good job of flushing out bacteria. And so, really great. Highly recommend it. My wife drinks it all the time, so she likes it in general. Dandelion leaf in general. So if you want dandelions, you know, heard of the root, you know, good for detoxing the liver. Well, the leaf itself is great in salads. I highly recommend it. If you want a good salad, you want to put some dandelion leaf in there. Also, it helps with inflammation of the bladder. So I highly recommend it. And it's a great diuretic also. And so, you know, eat the leaf or make the tea with it, or 3 or 4 cups of tea daily. And that will do a great job also. Also, horsetail is another thing which is a good diuretic and works in a similar fashion as corn silk, and that will help to flush out bacteria. Another one is D-mannose. D-mannose, D-M-A-N-N-O-S-E, mannose. And this is simple sugar and used to prevent and treat urinary tract infections, and it does a really good job. Actually, a lot is known about the way it kills the bacteria and that type of thing, and makes it easier to flush out the bacteria out of your bladder also. A study in 2016 showed 43 women with active urinary tract infections. First 3 days, they were given 1.5 grams or 1,500 milligrams of D-mannose twice daily, and followed by 1 daily dose of 1,500 milligrams for 10 more days. So they did 3 days, twice a day, 10 days, once a day, and after 15 days, 90% of them didn't have an infection. So really great. And you get that at your health food store. Usually it comes in powdered form, but sometimes in capsules also. Stinging nettle, really great for all kinds of inflammation in the body. Also, our allergic type reactions are great for mucous membranes in the body. Also, hemorrhoids and cold sores and sore throats and inflammation of the intestines, really great for the urethra and the bladder. I recommend taking 2 to 4 300 milligram capsules, AM and PM, taking it for 7 to 10 days. Or you can take the tea, 3 to 5 cups daily. Really does a great job. Stinging nettle. Highly, this is something you ought to have in your medicine cabinet all the time. Also, Boswellia. Boswellia is a wonderful herb. I don't have that here, but we'll talk about it anyway. Boswellia is really powerful anti-inflammatory. It's one of my favorites, in fact. If I work out and get really, sore, I take Boswellia. It comes from the frankincense tree, really great. And it's the actual resin that comes from the frankincense tree. No wonder they gave this to Jesus. It's really great stuff. It really does a good job of getting rid of, the inflammation in the bladder. I recommend taking 4 250 milligram capsules, AM and PM, for 7 days to 10 days. And then take a week off, because this is powerful stuff, and then come back and take it again. It really does a great job of getting rid of inflammation. Another one is great is Oregon grape. Oregon grape is really wonderful. It has a lot of berberine and other compounds in it which help to get rid of any kind of inflammation. And here's berberine also, that can help too, and really does a great job of getting rid of the inflammation, also helping to kill the bacteria at the same time, and used in Chinese medicine also. For the Oregon grape, I recommend taking 500 milligrams 3 times a day for 7 to 10 days. 500 milligrams 3 times a day for 7 to 10 days. Another one which is great, probably I've talked about this actually, is old man's beard. This is a moss that grows on trees, a particular moss, and you can make a tincture out of this, which is really good. And you can take a standard dose would be 1 to 2 mils 3 times a day internally, and that'll kill just about all bacteria. There's no doubt about that. I don't recommend taking it all the time. It's really powerful stuff. But if you do have a bladder infection, you want to get rid of it. Remember, you're going to have to take your probiotics too. Also, good old turmeric. Turmeric is great. Turmeric is amazing. I highly recommend it. I take it quite often, 3 or 4 days a week. And very anti-inflammatory, helps with cancer, helps to boost up your immune system, helps with inflammation in the body in general. And I highly recommend taking 400 milligram capsules AM and PM for 7 to 10 days. And then go back to taking it 3 or 4 days a week. I recommend, 1,200 milligrams on the average for the average person if you're not having some kind of urinary tract infection type of process. Eat a lot less sugar. Sugar is not good. It's going to grow those bad bacteria in your bladder, and it's really going to attack you. So stay away from the sugar. Fruit is good. There's no doubt about that. We know that it actually prevents Alzheimer's and dementia, and also has lots of fiber, which is, fiber. I can talk about that forever. But this good old sucrose, table sugar, is not a good thing. So stay away from the sugar in general. Garlic is another great one. It was really good for the bladder. And there's a lot of studies showing that it actually can treat a broad range of ailments, even fungal infections, viral infections, bacterial infections, and actually help with UTIs, also urinary tract infections too. So eat your garlic. I'd like to smash the cloves, take out the garlic, and chop it up, and take that with a little water, maybe a little honey, and just a little drop of honey to change the flavor, and really good. I don't even need the honey, really, to tell you the truth. But it really is great stuff. Good for the body in general. Also, probiotics. I talk about probiotics all the time. A lot of times people get infections and inflammation because they don't have the good bacteria in their gut. So take probiotics. I recommend it on a regular basis, no doubt about that. And most people have killed off all the good bacteria in their gut. Not good. Also, cranberries, a good old standby cranberries. This is cranberry season now, so go eat your cranberries. Now, don't get the sweetened one. I just buy them fresh or frozen and munch on them. There's no doubt about it. And when I get the fresh ones, I throw them in the freezer. They were really good, almost for like 6 months in the freezer. Really great. I like to cut them in half and use them on cereal too, so on my oatmeal. So really great. So highly recommend that. And they will help. They have D-mannose in them, hippuric acid and anthocyanins in them, which help to kill bacteria and prevent the bacteria from adhering to the bladder wall. So really great stuff. Eat your cranberries. We're coming into Thanksgiving cranberry season, Eat your cranberries. Also, getting on a plant-based diet. You'll see a huge change in the amount of bladder infections you're going to have in general. Once you switch and finally go whole hog into a whole foods plant-based diet. And I really highly recommend this, and this will change your life. There's no doubt about it. Also, excuse me, also things like parsley, chamomile, as I said, mint will also help with bladder infections. Also chemicals. If you're taking medications or been exposed to chemicals, these type of things can really cause bladder problems in general. Not good. So stay away from chemicals in general. Really terrible. Also stress. Some people are prone to stress, and most people these days are stressed. There's no doubt about it. I could probably look at 100 people and find 99 of them stressed, because, boy, we live in a stressful world right now. And stress will cause inflammation. There's no doubt about that. We have that down. There's no maybe about it. It does. And so it causes all kinds of problems in the body. Actually breaks down the lining of our gut also. So stress. I highly recommend getting into meditation to help you and get rid of the stress. There's no doubt about that. And having a balanced life. I have to say, most people I do consults with are way out of balance. I'm telling you. I was working with a lady yesterday. All she does is work. She's never had a vacation. Never, ever had it. Actually, for the first time in ages, she took a day off. Wow. And she felt like, you know, she died and went to heaven. Oh, we have to have a balanced life. Without that, we're going to really cause a lot of problems, including bladder infections and all kinds of stuff. So if you want to get a hold of me, feel free to want to talk more about, you know, bladder infections and inflammation. A lot of it's sterile bladder inflammation also. Be free to get a hold of me. Feel free to get a hold of me. My phone number is 831-869-9119. 831-869-9119. All my information is at the end of the video. Also, if you click on Show More, it's down below. And you know, I asked for a $50 donation. That gets you, like yesterday, I did a 2-hour consult with a person. Normally, it's anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. And we'll get you on a road to healing and getting rid of your chronic disease. There's no reason for diabetes, no reason for MS, no reason for lupus, and no reason for sickle cell. There's no reason for cystic acne. There's no reason for all these different things. I can go on for a long list. Let's get rid of that. Also, remember my new book, Live a Cancer-Free Life. Live a Cancer-Free Life. You can Google that. It'll come up. And let's cut your chances of coming down with cancer by 1,000% and make a huge difference in your life. We can do this. You can do this. There's no doubt about it. You don't want to be a statistic. So have a wonderful day, and remember a couple things. Remember God, and remember, I love you.